Okay, guys, so let's start. Today we will learn about the sieve method, sieve of Eratosthenes. Let me present the screen. Okay, so in the earlier session, we have learned about how to find the whether a number is prime or not in square root complexity. So here we will learn about an algorithm, the sieve algorithm, where it can be done in O of 1 complexity with some pre-calculations and some work done offline, as you can say. Uh, so the first we should understand that if a number is whenever we come across a number from the increasing order from 1, 2, 3, not 1, sorry, 2, 3, 4, etc., any multiple of these numbers cannot be a prime, uh, which is just a more easy thing to understand because it will be divisible by that number, and a prime number is only divisible by itself and 1. So this logic is exploited by the sieve method. In sieve method, we go from the increasing order starting from 2 till the square root of uh, uh, range. Suppose a range is n, so we will go from 2 to the square root of n, and we will check whether that number is already a multiple of some other number or not. For example, let's see it. So the loop starts. So this is the function. Let's try using this only. So first, we take a number which we use a range n, and we define an array prime here with the starting value as true for all numbers start from 0 to n plus 1, 0, 1, 2. So the last index will be n itself, and then we start from p equals to 2. So here we start from p equals to 2 because obviously we would not want to check for 1 because every number is divisible by 1. So it would be illogical to do so. We start from p equals to 2, and here, as I said earlier, we will go till the square root of n, which is I've written here in a different way. So p square less than equals to n. So now I am checking that here if prime p equals to true. So here I am checking that if a number, let's x, is already being pre-processed or not. By pre-processing, we mean that if it is already a multiple of some other number or not. So let's try using a range. So let's start with say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We will start with say 2, and then we check. So let's define the array prime. So I'm using ones as trues. So here 1 means that the number is not yet processed. The number is not yet processed. So we start with p equals to 2, and if prime p equals to 2, which uh, says that the number p, which is the current value of p, it is prime. And then we start with for I in range p square till n plus 1. It is in, as I said earlier, it is in Python, so the loop will run from p square till n, and the value by which it increases is p. So it will start from p square and it will be incremented by p each time. So it will be first, it will be p square, then it will be p square plus p, then p square plus 2p, etc. So uh, it starts from 2 square, so it's 4, and it goes on like this. So as you can see, 4 is a multiple of 2. So we change its value prime I equals to false, increasing it by p. So 4 plus 2, 6. 6 plus 2, again 8, 10, 12, 14, plus p 16, but 16 is out of range, so we stop here. And then again we change with increment p's value by 1. So now p is 3. So now p is 3. We again check if prime p equals to 2. So it's true. The value of 3, the array prime here is 1, so it's true. So it is a prime. And then again the same logic comes here, starting from p square till n with p. So it's 3 square, that is 9. So we'll start from 9, make it 0. Then plus 3, 12, it's already 0. Then 15, make it 0. Then we come to 4. So now we see here that the prime 3 here is false already. So it is not a prime number. Then we move on to 5. Uh, Prime p, that is prime of 5, is 1, which is true. So 5 is a prime number. So we will start from p square, that is 25. So it is out of range. So this loop doesn't run at all. We are change it to 6. It is 0. So this whole thing is not checked at all. We go to 7. It is a prime number. We start from p square, that is 49, which is out of range. So we will not check here. 8, it is not prime. 9, not prime. 10, not prime. 11, it is prime. So we should start here from p square, which is 121, which is again out of range. So we will start from 12. We will go to 12, which is not prime. 13, it is a prime. And it should be 13 square, which is out of range. So then we go to 14, which is not prime. 15, which is not prime. So here, if we analyze the array, here, we see that 2 is prime, 3 is prime, 4 is not prime, and so on. So this is exactly what we need here. So here, all this processing, if we do it early, then this sieve method takes O of n log of log n time. This whole thing takes n of log n time. So if we do, so if say we have a question that for you will be given a number of queries. For each query, you have to check whether that number is prime or not. So if you try that, if you try to do that by the method we discussed earlier, then it will take n of square root of n times. If we analyze this, if n is about 10 to the power 5, this log of n is roughly around 20 or something, and log of n will be around 5. So this will be around n log of n will be around 5 into 10 to the power 5. But if we do it in n of n square, whether it is a prime or not, this question will not come in any competitive exam or competitive coding contest or any placement interviews or something like that. But this is like as a very fundamental step to find some other forms of question. Very good example is that if you have tried yesterday's educational round in code forces, the question number D was had to be solved using the sieve method. So this we will now discuss some of the applied versions of sieve. But first, I would like to ask if you have any doubts, please ask. Have you guys understood what I was trying to explain? One.
Sona, keep your editor open. They might need to see.
Okay, so if you want, if you have any doubt, you can ask.
I have
And
a doubt. I have a doubt
Yes,
related
yes,
to this sieve of Eratosthenes.
yes.
Actually, I had once attempted a question on CodeChef which required this method. We had to count the number of prime numbers to calculate the thing. So I used this method, but it was still giving me TLE. At first, it was probably because of slow IO of Python. So I used PyPy instead, but it's still giving me TLE, even if I used Sieve of
what was the range?
Eratosthenes.
What was the range of n?
It was probably 10 to the power 6.
10 to the
I'm
power 6.
checking.
Did you try in C++?
No, I only tried in Python.
Okay, so
10 to
the
the power
thing,
6 is most probably will give you TLE in Python. 10 to the power 5 is okay in Python.
So I
here,
should try doing it in C or Java instead. I mean, it will not
You
work
can
in
try
Python.
in C++. Java
Okay.
will also work, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so the yes, as you said, it is a very irritating thing what Python does. As I was saying earlier, the question number D of yesterday's question, me and Anish applied the same logic. I did it in Python, I got TLE. Anish did it in C++, he got AC. The exact same logic. So if you see that the range is 10 to the power 6, 10 to the power 7, or even 5 into 10 to the power 5, you try to do it in Java or C++, which are much faster than Python. N log n will mostly give you TLE in Python. It is, I know it is very disgusting, but it is what it is. One question I was assuming anyone will ask, but no one did ask, is why are we in this loop for I in range p square to n plus 1? Why are we doing it from p square and not p? Because when we do, suppose take this example, if we do 3 and we are doing it from p square, so it is 3 square, it is 9, but 3 into 2 6 is also
Yes, once gonna. Yeah, someone said it reduces time, but why does P into P works?
okay.
You
Why?
said that
Yeah, let me check.
Krishna Kant. Yes, why does P into P works?
Okay,
Why
anyone,
aren't we taking anything else?
anyone wants to answer this?
Because in other applications of the sieve, we can't take P into P. We have
P
to
will be
start from P
included.
into 2 or P.
P will be included in P square. No, no. As I said in the example, if we are processing 3, then 3 square is 9, but 3 into 2 is 6, which we are not processing. So why does this work? So someone said they did it. See, Anush, do you know
Can you
anyone?
repeat the question?
In the inner loop here for I in range p square to n plus 1, the ideal thing is we should have done from p to n plus 1. but we are doing it in p square to n plus 1. Why? Okay, so
Bhaiya, can I tell?
bolo.
Yes.
Because all the numbers which are less than p square will be declared false while because they have factors less than p, means
Perfect.
Exactly.
p into
Good.
p minus 1.
Exactly. Perfect.
Very good. So for the others, p square. So when we are processing p, we are doing it from p square. So all the numbers from p to p square minus 1, if it is divisible by p, then it has to have a factor which is less than p, because it is quite simple that the minimum number is p square. So anything divisible by p less than p square will be either p into 1 or p into 2 or p into 3, which has to be less than p. So this logic works. For example, in 3, it's 3 square is 9, but 3 into 2 is 6. Listen carefully. 3 into 2 is 6, and we have already processed 2. So this reduces the complexity to n of log n. So if we had done, instead of p square, if we had done from p, then it would mostly take n log n or even more than n log n. Any questions? Or else we will move to the applications part. For, for the applications part, we will be doing the counting the prime factors of a number. Anish, would you like to do that?
Okay. বন্ধ কর present. So just as we learned sieve that we can calculate by using sieve that a number is prime or not from a range 1 to n. So sieve has many applications. One of the most basic applications is counting the number of prime factors of a number. So just like the basic approach, you can calculate the number of prime factors in n square root of n, which we did last day, where we ran a loop from 2 to square root of that number and checked the number of factors, and if the number of factors is greater than 2, then it's not prime, otherwise it is prime. But what if you are given k numbers and you have to check whether they are prime or not? Then the total complexity will be k into square root of the maximum number out of the k given numbers. So this
And
approach
also,
is
Anish, also tell them the binary search to find first n prime numbers.
পরে বলছি।
Hmm.
So what we are going to do is we are going to apply sieve. Just as Sonak told you how the basic approach of applying sieve, we are going to do exactly the same thing, but we are going to make a small change here. So let's say we are given a array of numbers, and the maximum, let the maximum of the numbers be n. So we will take all the numbers from 1 to n and apply sieve on this array. So what was the basic code here? That we are running a for loop from 2 to n, and if I is prime, then we are running another loop from I into I to n, and the increment is I. And this is a variable j. So what change we are going to do here? What Shonak explained was that we have to find whether the number was prime or not. So what we are doing here, that we are just putting the prime status to 0 here. That means that this number is not prime, but it is composite. But in the present problem, we have to count the number of factors here. So just keeping it 0 will not be sufficient. So what we are going to do here is, we are going to do the same thing. We will start from 2 to n with the control variable I. We are going to check here the same thing. If I is prime, then we are going to start a for loop from I. See here, not I into I. We will start it from I with control variable j. It will go till n and will be incremented by I. And what we are going to do here is count j plus equals to 1. And we are done. This array gives us the count of the prime factors of the number j. So after you have applied this, you can just access, for example, if you have to know the number of prime factors of x, you just have to print count x. Count x is basically, first you initialize with 0. Every factor is 0, and then you run this. Now let's see how it works. So this is the number of array from, let's take 10, n equals to 10. So first the count array is 0 for every digit, for every number. So now we are running I from 2. So I is prime means count I is 0. So count of 2 is now 0. So we will start the inner for loop from 2. See, here is the difference. Last time we were starting from I into I, but this time we are starting from I. Anyone can tell why? Anyone? Why here we are starting from I and not I into I? Rajdeep? Rajdeep, can you tell?
Yeah, once can you repeat the question?
Why in the inner for loop we are starting from I and not I into I? Just like the last problem. Last problem we started from I into I. Here we are starting from I. Why? Because in last questions we have to find out whether it was prime or not. And when Rajdeep told that if we are starting from I into I, because the numbers less than I into I have factors less than I, so it will be automatically reset to 0 beforehand. But here we have to count the number of prime factors. So we have to start from I, because if we start from I into I, the numbers, the multiples of I which occur before I into I will not be counted. For example, I will show you when I go through this problem. So first we are starting from 2. So the count of 2 is incremented by 1. Count of 4 is incremented by 1. 6, 1, 8, 1, 10, 1. So next we go to 3. Is 3 prime? Yes, because count of 3 is 0. So 3 is incremented by 1. Now here look, 6 will again be incremented because it's divisible by 3 also. Last problem, when we are taking considering 3, we started from 9, but here we have to start from 3, because if we start from 9, 6 will not be counted and the value of 6 will remain 1, which is from I, because the numbers, the multiples of I which are less than I into I has to be taken into consideration. So we are incrementing the counter of 6 by 2, and next we go to 9 and increment by 1. Next we go to 4. 4 is not a prime, so we skip it. Next we go to 5. Yes, 5 is prime because the count is 0. So the count is incremented by 1. And then the next multiple, 5, 10. 10 is incremented by 2. Next we go to 6. 6 is not a prime, so we skip it. Next we go to 7. Thus value of 7 is then incremented by 1. Then the next value of multiple of 7 is 14, which is out of range, so we skip it. And then we go to 8, not a prime number. 9, not a prime number. 10, not a prime number. So here the final count is 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, and 2. So this is the final count array, which gives us the count of prime factors from all the numbers 1 to n. Now, if you are given any number from this range, you can tell the number of prime factors of it in O of 1. So it reduces the time complexity to a great extent. And this is one of the basic applications of the sieve. So any questions? So I guess no questions are there.
So here, using the same logic what Anish said, there is one more application is to find the smallest prime factor of a number. So here you are running the same loop, same logic, but in the count array, uh, you just have to put some modifications. So there you do something like that. Whenever you find a number, the count value of a say count of j is 0, and you are coming to that number, then you put that number, say the outside loop is I, so you put count of j equals to I, and that number becomes the smallest prime factor of the number. Just a modification and one more question.
And another thing, in the smaller, how to find means the smallest prime factor, you can run the loop from I into I, because we don't need to check the numbers before I into I. But in the count of prime factors, you have to start from I. This is the one of the most important aspects you have to be careful in sieve, that where you have to use I into I and where you have to start from I.
Bhaiya, can you say again?
Which one?
Bhaiya, for counting prime numbers, you are telling about we pass from in for loop we pass argument from I to I.
Okay, I'm wait. doing it once again. So we are starting a for loop int I equals to 2 to I less than equals to n and I plus plus. Which part did you didn't understand? Can you specify? I can then focus on that. Hello, who asked? Hello. So this is the means proper code. We are starting from I equals to 2. We are starting from I equals to 2 because the number of prime factors the number of prime factors of 1 is always 0, because that's a very obvious thing. We are starting from I equals to 2. So the count array is 0 initially for everyone. That's we are initializing it. We are starting from 2 now. Now is the count of 2 is 0? Yes, it is 0. So that means till it is a prime factor. This means that I is prime. See here, the count of 2 is here 0. So we are starting a for loop from I. What in the last problem we started this from I into I, but here we are starting from I because we have to increment the counter of j for every prime number it is divisible by. We are starting from 2, so 2 is incremented by 1. Next multiple is 4, it gets incremented. 6 is incremented, 8 is incremented, 10 is incremented. Next we go to 3. So count of 3 is again 0, means 3 is a prime number here again. So 3 is incremented by 1. Now 6 is again incremented. Now here I told that in the last problem we started from 9, but this problem we are starting from 3. Last problem we started from I into I, which is 9, but here we are starting from I, which is 3. Because if we start from 9, 6 and 3 will not be incremented, but we have to increment here. So that's why we are starting from I here, not I into I. So again 9 is incremented by 1 after 3, 6 and 9. So again we go to 4. 4 is not a prime number, its count is not 0, so we are skipping it. Next we go to 5, which is again a prime number. So we are incremented 5 by 1, and next multiple of 5 is 10. We are incremented it to 2. Yeah. So next one is 6, not a prime number. 7 is prime number, so we are incrementing 7 by 1. And next multiple of 7 is 14, which is out of range, so we don't care. Next we go to 8, not a prime number. 9, not a prime number. 10, not a prime number. So we are done. Now see the elements in the count array are the number of prime factors here. 2 has one prime factor, which is 2 itself. 3 has one. 4 has one. 5 has one. 6 has 2 prime factors, 2 and 3. So it has 2. 7 has one prime factor. 8 has one prime factor. 9 has one prime factor. 10 has 2 prime factor. 2 and 5. So we are done here. So the count array gives us the count of prime factors of the number. Is it clear? Who asked? Yogesh. Yogesh?
Yes, we are. Due to network problem, I don't hear you, but now clear, भैया, clear.
Okay. So sieve is very essential in number theory problems because you can't apply brute every time because it will take n into square root of n. So practice some problems. I have given a link here. It has some basic problems on sieve. Practice them, and just as I told, one thing you have to take care in sieve is that this one means we have to start from I or I into I. You have to take. We have to be careful about that. So what I do is generally I start from I because it's a safe option. But when the time limits are a bit tight, you can start from I into I if the algorithm is correct by starting from I into I. So just keep in mind that whether you have to start from I or I into I, because the problem Sonak described, we have to start from I into I. But in this problem, you have to start from I. So this you have to means keep in mind of what will be a starting position, or else the code pretty much remains the same. And it's a very good algorithm for the number theory problems. You will probably use it plenty of times. And I have given the link. Try out those problems. And if you have any doubt,
Hmm.
just put it in the Telegram group. We will
Bank
see.
statement. Huh.
So any questions, or else we will stop.
Okay, so the next session will be possibly taken by Suryansh Bhaiya if he is available. So you would not like to miss that one. That would be a great session. I can assure you that.
As you
Uh,
all know, Suryansh Bhaiya is a Google employee, an ex-Microsoft intern. So he is a pretty good competitive coder, and ML also. He is pretty good in ML also. So you don't wanna miss out his lecture. So any questions on today's session, or in general any CP questions or doubts?
Yeah, I have a doubt on a code save problem, the March long challenge one.
Okay,
is it is it live or
No, no,
it's
no,
it's
no,
not
not
completed?
live. It's ended.
yes, sir.
It's ended.
Okay,
Okay,
you
so
post whatever problem you have, you post in the Telegram group. There are plenty of people who can help.
post the
Okay.
problem in Telegram. We will check it.
Okay.
And any questions on today's how we will going to apply it? Okay, no questions. So we are stopping.